As a non-American watching Congress just pass this TikTok ban bill, I feel like if I was American, I'd be so angry because, like, forget healthcare crisis, housing crisis, gun crisis. No, let's focus on banning TikTok or forcing the only foreign social media that isn't owned by the US, that the US can't control, to sell, or else it's going to be banned in the US. Which feels really undemocratic, and also, like, where the hell are your priorities? Also notice how nothing has been done about US-owned social media actively known for selling user information to foreign countries. But no, it's all TikTok.
Everyone on TikTok knows that the TikTok ban has nothing to do with China. It's all about Israel. Been talking to a lot of people involved with the bill on Twitter Spaces, and there's one thing they all have in common. They're not on TikTok. And if they were, they would know that it's not China hashtags that are getting censored. It's Israel hashtags. Because there's two claims the lawmakers are making. They're claiming that China can suppress anti-China content through suppressing hashtags, for example, and they're claiming they can spy on you and get your data. Problem is, I recently made an anti-China video using all the anti-China hashtags. Tiananmen Square, Uyghur Muslims, I talked all about it. I showed footage of Tiananmen Square. We're at almost 600,000 views. No suppression. Oh, and real quick, the claim about them harvesting your data, like, you clearly don't understand the nature of cyber warfare today, and you should read this book, do a little research. China's in all of our shit anyways. They can have all of our data whether you outlaw an app or not, and like, who the fuck cares? Like, what are they gonna do? Y'all are coming for our free speech. Y'all are coming for our platforms where we talk and we share information. Like, TikTok is not an app for videos of dancing kids. TikTok is an app for journalism. Most of TikTok is talking head videos like this of people sharing information, and that is why it is dangerous to them. If you're not on TikTok, I guarantee you have no idea what you're talking about, because it is not what you've been told, and it is not what you think it is.
So here's a piece of information that everyone needs to start sharing and talk about, which is that by default under Chinese export law, ByteDance cannot actually sell. China, just like the US and many other countries, have certain trade restrictions, export and import. And one of those restrictions is that they can't simply export their technology. Now, our lawmakers who came up with this divest or get banned bill already understood that ByteDance cannot sell under Chinese export law. That's why they came up with this bill. They want to basically ban TikTok and blame the Chinese government. This bill was never about divest or get banned. It was literally about, hey, we're going to ban you. And you know what? We're going to ban you because we know you can't sell. Anyone in the media, I'm talking about lawmakers or journalists talking about the sale of TikTok without mentioning this critical factor that they can't actually sell under Chinese export law, is essentially a propagandist. Because they're just pushing the narrative that, hey, they can sell, when in fact the reality is, no, they can't sell. In fact, the people who came up with this bill knew that they can't sell. That's why they came up with it, to make it sound like they can sell, so that way they can blame China in the end for banning TikTok, rather than taking the heat, which is a reality, which is that they're just trying to ban TikTok for the sake of banning TikTok. So please share this information, because it really makes me sick when I hear stories about how, oh, why don't they just sell? Why don't they just sell? Because the reality is, by law, they can't sell. I mean, you can say both of them together, but just don't talk about selling without mentioning this critical fact.
So for those of y'all who are still not convinced that TikTok and Israel are behind this TikTok ban, here's some evidence. They write, "We want Congress to tell TikTok that their time is up. We're done with the lies that the platform spreads about the Jewish people in Israel." Now, we all know that in reality, they, meaning AIPAC and Israel, are actually just incredibly angry that TikTok allowed us to dismantle all of the propaganda that they've spent millions into. And obviously Israel is a colony of the US. That is why Biden is going so hard for it, because he wants access to the oil that's there and a foothold in the Middle East.
Has anyone looked at who brought the bill in the first place and who pays him? Because I just did. Here, check this out. This is the bill right here. Representative Mike Gallagher. That would be this charming devil right here. And if we look at his top contributors for this election cycle, Palantir and Google are at the top with $44,000 and $40,000. But right there, that's AIPAC with $17,000. But wait, there's more. We're going to switch this to the last election cycle in 2022 and scroll down. And would you look at that? His top contributor that got him elected in 2022 was AIPAC with $44,000 contribution. If you didn't know, that's the American Israeli Public Affairs Committee, the Zionist lobby group that doesn't need to register as a foreign agent because they refuse to. So just to clarify, the TikTok ban bill was introduced by a guy whose some of his top contributions are coming from the Zionists and from Google and Palantir, top tech companies associated with the CIA and Mossad. This is the data from TikTok. No one on TikTok is trying to support Israel. And Israel really does not like when we do our freedom of speech thing. And so they have paid everyone off and have come up with a scapegoat for national security to try to take TikTok away before the elections. The reason why they want to ban TikTok is because things like this spread really fast. I'm going to leave you with this clip from the director of the ADL.
I can't afford a home, I don't feel safe, groceries are way too expensive, my entire neighborhood is filled with homeless people. Best I can do is ban TikTok.
There's a lot of confusion with this whole TikTok ban bill thing. People are saying a lot of stuff like this, oh, why can't we just create a new platform? We'll all just go somewhere else. Guys, we can't do that. We can't do that. Per the verbiage of the bill, it doesn't matter if it's TikTok or any other company. If the president deems it to be a threat to national security, he reserves the right to completely dismantle said app or website. If this passes, like, is that going to be the thing for us? Can we, like, make it known that, like, that's going to be the time that we, like, do something? Because honestly, I'm so sick of being taken advantage of. I'm so sick of the government making it abundantly clear that they don't give a fuck about anybody but themselves. They're literally crushing small businesses who depend on this app for their commerce. They're crushing creators like myself who use this app to pay their bills. And it's literally all about money. It's about putting more money in their pockets. If you look at how many of those people own shares of Meta, if you hold a position in office, you should not be able to freely trade on the stock market.
The more that I look into this TikTok ban, the stranger this whole situation is becoming. Stephen Mnuchin, the former Treasury Secretary and the person part of the original effort to ban TikTok back in 2020 with the Trump administration, now wants to buy it. He recently told CNBC that, I think the legislation should pass. I think that it should be sold. I understand the technology, it's a great business, and I'm going to put together a group to buy TikTok.
So our government's claiming TikTok is a danger to our country, much like we as Americans have been claiming that Fox News and News Corp is a danger to our country.
That TikTok is not a danger to America.
I don't think it's a question of whether the allegations are true or false. I think when you're alleged of a crime, you have to be convicted of it. So you can't really take someone's property in our country without a conviction. That's in the Fifth Amendment. You have to have due process to take someone's company from them or force them to sell. But even beyond the Fifth Amendment, the First Amendment says that those 180 million Americans who express themselves on the platform have a right as well. There's already been a preliminary decision by a federal district judge in Montana that tried to ban this. There were two decisions under Donald Trump when he tried to ban this. They've all been found unconstitutional. And the thing is we can like or dislike TikTok. I've actually never looked at TikTok. But the thing is using it or not using it, whether you own it or not own it, really has to be according to the law. Because there's a real danger. For example, Fox News, I don't know, maybe you have some foreign owners. I don't know if everybody's an American citizen. And then what if they say, well, Fox News is giving misinformation on the election. You have a foreign ownership, you have misinformation according to the government, and all of a sudden they say, well, we're going to shut down Fox News, or we're going to shut down Twitter. So the bill isn't just about TikTok. It mentions TikTok by name, which is also a problem because laws are not allowed to target one company, but there is also a danger that it goes beyond that.
And their news feed, which is number one with young people. It is true. The number one with young people is now,
Brian, it's an allegation. You are making allegations against a company owned by Americans, and you have to prove it in court.
Who owns that company? Who owns that company? ByteDance. ByteDance is owned by China.
No, it's not. See, that's a lie, and you're defaming the company. 60% of it is owned by international investors, 20% is owned by the software developers who are Chinese, and 20% is owned by the employees, 7,000 of whom are Americans. So
who controls the algorithm?
But it's not owned by the government.
It's not about profits. Who owns the algorithm?
TikTok owns their own algorithm, and it's actually not in China.
And who owns TikTok? ByteDance. And who owns ByteDance? The Chinese government.
No, they don't. See, you've just told a lie, Brian. You can't say on TV something that's a lie about a company. Okay. That is an out-and-out lie, and it's provably
What is
false.
a lie?
And they're not owned by the Chinese government. TikTok is owned privately, 60% by international investors.
ByteDance controls the algorithm. That's all that matters. You're talking about profits.
Let me finish.
I've been listening to you.
Let me finish the answer. 60% is owned by international investors who have made investments in this. 20% is owned by the 2 Chinese software engineers who developed the app, and 20% by their employees. And
who controls the algorithm?
And 7,000 of them are Americans, and the algorithm's not in China. Yeah. Everything is held outside of China.
You're comfortable with TikTok influencing America, and you believe that those 60% of foreign ownership controlled it. Senator, thank you so much. I got to go to
Constitution. You cannot take people's property without due process. Right. If you believe that there's a national security exception to the Constitution, then you believe that Fox News could be shut down, that Twitter could be shut down.
Senator, thank you very much. I'm up against a hard break. Thank you very much.